by Susanna Raj, who is one of our other program chairs for Global South in AI. So for a little while, I was able to forget all the organizing and all the things we were doing through the year and just sit there with you on the other side and listen to Bonaventure. So thank you so much, Bonaventure. That was amazing. So Global South in AI is a whole new affinity group. This is our first time here. So we're going to remember every one of you who showed up to listen to us today. So we appreciate that. As you have heard already, that our mission is to make sure that language AI is more inclusive and is not just built with a Western lens and is inclusive of 7,000 plus languages of the world. And also from a technical perspective, not just think of language, AI, and NLP as just word embeddings, but think about the culture and nuances and history and the richness that it brings from various languages. So that's our hope. So what we ended up doing was, thank you. So what we ended up doing was, we are at NeurIPS, so we are thankful to NeurIPS, the diversity and inclusion affinity groups that took us in. We wanted to live up to that standard. So what we ended up doing was, we did a call for paper, double blind with area chairs, and had 12 posters that got selected. And so we will be having those posters, some of them in Hall J later today at between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And because we are representing Global South, everybody couldn't get visa and couldn't travel to US. So we are going to have a virtual poster session. So where you saw the workshop, this workshop, below that you can see all the different posters, all the different topics, and so you can check that, and then come for the virtual poster session on December 5. We will appreciate it greatly, and you will enjoy it, I promise. And I didn't do my introduction. I teach AI at Stanford, and this is Susanna Raj. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I am Susanna Raj. I am a cognitive science and AI ethics researcher, and also the CEO and founder of AI for Nomads. And we are very happy that to be here at NeurIPS as founders of Global South in AI.
Thank you. So what we have rest of the hour is, can you bring this up? So the Zoom was actually echoing myself back. I just want to get the presentation. So I wanted to show who our other fellow program organizers are, and who the program chairs are, because they are all people from everywhere. So when we set this up, we thought we will focus on Global South broadly as Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And within Asia, I think we got submissions from India, and nobody from India could travel because of the thank you so much, because of the visa backlog from COVID. But the big treat for me was to find out about, Lanfrica and the whole buzzing activity that is happening in research space from the African, subcontinent. I just find that as a treat. I'm still looking at all the different research and everything. So what Bonaventure shared was his work on that, but there is a lot more. So hopefully if you follow up with him, you can find out there is, other groups and Slack groups and activities and research that's happening. So one of the other speakers we have is also our area chair. So once I figure out how to get that on, maybe we can do that. Oh yes, Jasmia. Hi Jasmia, how are you? We can't hear Jasmia from Zoom. So Jasmia Henry is one of our program chairs who did the double-blind peer review of our posters. We got people from 12 countries, final selection, not everybody submitted. 12 countries and 8 languages, or 8 different languages. And what Susan and I ended up doing was, she said, as a cognitive scientist, I just don't want to look at what we went through the process. We were supposed to submit one poster, and we were supposed to say what was our learning, what was common across these challenges that we could solve. And we kind of thought with a certain naivete that, hey, if we bring groups who are working across different continents doing similar things, we'll get some knowledge sharing. But it turned out to be a bigger exercise than that. So the poster that Susanna is focusing on is we spoke to people from our posters, only that was the subset. We spoke to people from Bari language from South Sudan, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and my mother tongue is Tamil, which is from India. And we also looked at the difference of languages, which is pre-colonized language that, before that the language existed. And we could capture a history from there and whether there was any difference. So we did some research on that, so you'll be seeing that in a little bit. So if Jasmia, we can hear Jasmia's voice, I would like to give her time, because we are going to switch gears to a different dimension of this problem. So if this is a bigger AI problem, but I'm going to focus on language specifically. So the easiest assumption is to say AI is trained by data, and we are going to put it out to the world, and people can talk. So what if Alexa doesn't understand my accent? She can learn. I don't know why she's a she, but she can learn. And that is the idea, right? But then we saw how Facebook or Meta had to pull back on Galactica just last week. Tay got pulled out in 24 hours from Microsoft as soon as it was launched. So just trusting people to do the right thing and add to the diversity and reduce bias is not happening. We know that. So what is the best way to manage this post-production AI process so that we can continue to reduce bias is a big problem. And that is an area of research and work of Jasmia Henry. And Jasmia Henry has done a lot more other things. I can't do justice to her background, so hopefully you'll follow up with her later. Honda, can we see Jasmia on stage? She's joining us from Zoom from Washington, D.C. I saw her for a second. I see her. We can't hear her yet. So hopefully, no, we don't hear you yet. So hopefully we'll be able to hear you soon. And then on Zoom, we also have two of our authors. I mean, because of the time zone, everybody couldn't join us. Two of our authors are also going to be at least saying hello. That's the plan. So while we are waiting for the audio to show up, is it possible for us to just get to know, you're most motivated to show up? If you're comfortable, can you tell us who you are and, why this interest in this space? If you want to come up here, it's all right too. Because then people can hear you on this live stream.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, I think we're research colleagues, so we come from Brazil.
Okay.
So we work with AI ethics and security. So that's our main focus is exactly what you say. So reducing bias, talking about discrimination, algorithmic discrimination, and diversity. So that's why we came here. And my name is William.
Alini, William, and Carol. Thank you so much. And where in Brazil are you coming from?
South Brazil. It's a state, the last state.
What's it called?
South is Rio Grande do Sul.
No.
We work for we are connected to a college there called PUC.
Okay.
And we work at TecnoPUC. There is a center of innovation.
TecnoPUC. Good. So there is one person who's a researcher. His name is Tiago Felipe Avanci, and he contributed to our research because one of the things that Susan, do you want to talk about the women thing? Just tell them about that, please.
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to bring inclusiveness in gender with regards to AI and in the AI language space. So for me, I am a cognitive science person, so we study construct theory by George Kelly. So I wanted to see if we can bring construct science into AI to eliminate some of the biases that are in the process of developing AI models. So in construct science, for everything, for every word, for every object that you have, or all of your semantic knowledge base is based on some type of construct that is developed from your own language. So from our Indian language And we picked 3 languages: Bari language, Tamil, both of our common languages, and then another one was Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. Yes, and so we were trying to see just the simple word for woman, for a female, what the constructs are in each of those languages, and it's so complex and it's so rooted in patriarchy and rooted in colonization that it led us into some interesting findings on how women is defined by each language's original construct. In Tamil language, for example, the word, the actual female word connotation is used as a proxy to determine if you are married, single, or widowed, or if you have kids, or just the age, just to find out somebody's age. That they are using that as a proxy to denote a woman's status in marital status. And in Bari language, we found out a similar thing that they are using. What was that we in Bari?
So in Bari from South Sudan, they have this where they define a woman, a name for a person who is somebody who doesn't have children, or somebody
who doesn't have support system.
Somebody who's a widow is the same. So essentially, if there is no guy supporting the women, then they put that in the same bucket. So it was very interesting. So if you think about it as, if you start working from one language and try to reduce the bias, and then you do a translate, Google Translate, and you say everybody is called a woman, or everybody is called, similar.
And Google will translate it in its own original language, which is English, which is a Western-centric construct. So for women, it means of men. So that is, so basically it says you are just part of another gender, you are part of that gender. You are not your own gender. So that is the language that AI learns. And then we are trying to translate everything back into our own languages, which have their own constructs. And for example, recently I was trying to file a tax ID documentation for my country because I am a US citizen here. And in that application itself, they are asking for different three or four different titles, prefixes before your name. And in the same way that here in Western countries, they have Miss, Mrs., and Ms. So in the same way, we have Kumari, Srimati, Sri. So all of those things are there, but not for a man. It's always one thing, Mr. Like that in Tamil also, they have only Sri. Just for a man, whether he's married, unmarried, widowed, single, doesn't matter. But women don't have that. It's like, are you identified by that? So those are all proxies that each country's language uses. But then AI is translating it back to its own language, which is the Western language. So either it will bring the constructs that we wanted to bring, or it may not bring the constructs that we want to eliminate. So it's like it's doing that, and that's what we were trying to see in our research. And we had published a small poster that took us some time to print out now.
So they'll get to see that now. What
you will get to see it in our poster session, because we were printing it just 5 minutes before.
So I wanted to see whether, so I'm happy to follow up with you all, because you're also, I'm curious about the AI ethics in security part, but I'm happy to talk to you all offline, but thank you for coming. Yes, I appreciate that.
And next year, probably we will submit our papers.
Yes, you can submit to our affinity group as well.
Yes, thank you.
If you are interested.
Yes. We were just doing a little introduction. So this is the Global South in AI, and we are focused on adding diversity to language AI. So we just had one presentation.
I think they are good.
Yes?
Jasmine can go now.
Yes.
Hi,
do you want
can
to
you hear me?
introduce yourself? Do you feel comfortable? If not, we can pass. No? It's all right. Okay. So do you want to introduce yourself? I never asked you. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I know we're on time, so...
You can...
I'm Ricardo Ariz, I come from Mexico. I work for a logistics company named Upwards, which we're named a unicorn. We grow a lot, but we the most important issue that we aim for, we are presenting in Brazil, is that we have several challenges on digitalizing processes to make easy the logistics issues. So all the issues are around logistics. So I'm interested in that, but also I want to go deeply on the regional differences of Spanish and Portuguese to get the best out of the text.
That's awesome. So we have one of our posters on sarcasm models for Spanish.
That's me.
Ricardo, okay, nice meet.
Very basic work. I just want to get my feet wet and get to know people well.
That's awesome. So one of my motivations was to, by one of my students who speaks Hausa, to focus on language AI diversity. The other one is I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I found there's like many Spanish. There's no one Spanish, right? The Mexican or the Latin American.
Well, yeah, whenever you
Yes.
want.
Yes, ready to go.
Yes, I know. Yes. Okay, so we can project Jasmia.
Yes, they already did, so she's
Okay, is she on stage? Hi, Jasmia. So I was just talking about
Hi.
how you focus on post-production and how to reduce bias, and you can introduce yourself and get started. And sorry, you had to wait for this long to get the audio fixed.
No problem at all. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.